Hey guys, so I thought I would spend today's video just having a bit of a chat with you guys about this channel and the content that I aim to produce for this channel, as well as other stuff that I do on the internet. This is just a little bit of a catch-up video, a little bit of an informal chat, a vlog if you will, and I'm just going to natter on a little bit about sort of what's going on in this internet space over the course of 2016. So I'm doing a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily YouTube related. I'm doing a lot of live streaming on Twitch, live streaming on other channels about non-techie stuff, and I've even opened up a couple of new channels over the past couple of years. So the best way to keep on top of everything that I'm currently working on is probably to follow my Twitter account at TechWithChris. Now I'll put all the links I'm going to talk about in the description section of this video, so don't worry about sort of remembering them all. Just check the notes at the bottom of this video. But yeah, everything that I do that's sort of in this kind of tech space, in this kind of, you know, any internet project and stuff that I'm working on, will go through this Twitter account. Now, I will point out to you guys that this is actually a new Twitter account as of pretty much the beginning of this year. Since I am standing in an election for the Welsh Assemblies, there's going to be a hell of a lot of, like, you know, political stuff on my account. So I kind of don't really necessarily want to subject the rest of my sort of more international audience to that kind of stuff. So if you just want the tech stuff that I talk about and, you know, stuff related to this channel, stuff related to maybe a little bit about movies and games as well, and whatever, you know, that kind of stuff, then at TechWithChris is the Twitter account to follow. And also I decided that I'm going to set up a blog associated with this channel as well. I don't really have too much in the way of expectations for it. It's techwithchrisware.wordpress.com. It's just sometimes I just kind of feel like writing a little bit about tech and some thoughts on the tech industry, and sometimes there are some maybe how-tos that I might want to draft up that might look a lot better in text form. There might be text supplements to other videos and stuff like that. So I decided to crack open a WordPress blog just so that I can cover all the text elements of this channel as well as anything else that I kind of want to include later on down the line. I decided to use WordPress for it because WordPress is the biggest CMS, the biggest content management system, the biggest blogging platform, and it's a pretty big things like shopping platform and a platform for like membership websites and all that kind of stuff. It's a huge platform that manages so much of the internet's content, and it's open source. And Automatix, which is the company behind WordPress, have open sourced a lot of the stuff that they use for the benefit of the wider internet, and it's made their company stronger, and it's sort of you know, it's really sort of invigorated the open source space on the you know, on the internet as it currently stands today. So I kind of want to support that company. I was even thinking about getting a custom like URL for it, but considering that I'm not going to do too much with it, and that I kind of want to just fly the WordPress flag a little bit. I do actually like Automatix as a company, and you know, you don't see the likes of Squarespace or like Google Sites putting their source code for their CMS up on the internet. So I thought I might try something, or even like Blogger or Tumblr or anyone like that. The only, you know, there's very few social media platforms, and I'm sort of classifying blogging as a social media platform here, but yeah, there's a lot of social media platforms that don't open source themselves out, but Reddit and WordPress are the two sort of big ones that have open sourced pretty much their entire platform. But there have been some reasonably useful open source libraries that Facebook and Twitter have contributed, interestingly enough, so it's always worth following those guys, but they're nowhere near as committed to sort of the open source objectives in an open source world in the same way that that companies like WordPress are. So I've done myself a website. If any of you guys want to see anything on it, or if you even want to sort of like guest contribute or anything, you're more than welcome to just sort of get in touch. You can also contact me through the website, but it just goes through to my my email, which is contact@chrisware.uk. You can email me there. It's like the direct way to get through to me. So if you ever want to get in touch that way as well, Twitter's again always good. I'm on Twitch, of course. I want to give you my Twitch link, so that'll be down in the description. It's twitch.tv/CW3R3. I also have a personal YouTube account, which I also want to put a link to down in the description below. Basically, what I'm going to be trying to do today, and also for the entirety of 2016, is put a video up every single day. It's one hell of a challenge, and I've done it before. I did it in 2012 and 2013, and it really improved my video making abilities. It's it's where I learned to use like green screens, and it's where I learned how to do decent audio for videos and all that kind of stuff. And when you do something again and again and again, you almost get you get so much of the stuff down into a routine that you get a decent platform for innovation then. Because making a video is at that point so routine, so easy, you're going to do it anyway, it becomes easier to find things to make videos about. It's not necessarily, a lot of people are likely to accuse me of putting quantity over quality, but the fact of the matter is I would probably be spending the same amount of time per video should I be making a video every single day, or should I be making a video once every 2 weeks? Like the proportion of quality to time is not it's not directly proportional. So I thought if I might just push myself into getting more back into video making, I think that I might sort of look for new things to make videos about, and that'd be pretty interesting. That's what happened the last 2 times, and I really feel I grew as a YouTuber because of it, and especially with a significantly larger audience than I tried it with last time as well. This is going to be some fun. So most of my videos are going to go on my personal channel for this. When I do a video that's obviously in the tech kind of sphere of things, then it will go on this channel, and if it's about flags, or general vexillology or heraldry, it'll go on my Fun with Flags channel, which is youtube.com/funwithflags. Who'd have thought that URL would still be available by the time I claimed it, but there you go. So if you want to see the occasional flag video or heraldry video, then they go up on that channel. So there are a lot of channels, but like I said, today I wanted to just make sure that everyone had access to, or everyone knew about everything that was going on in this in this place. So yeah, I think that's about the gist of it. I'm going to also put my gaming channel's URL down there in the description, just because if you guys like gaming videos, me and my friends play a lot of Garry's Mod. It's a fantastic game just for playing around with your friends. It's a good social game. So we've got a lot of Garry's Mod videos on there, and I recommend any of you guys actually check it out as in the Steam sales. It comes down in price quite a lot, and of course it's available for not only Linux but Windows and Mac as well. So thank you very much for following through all of that. I've got a lot of social media accounts, and I've and this is I consider social media to be one hell of a interesting beast, because whereas there is so much that it has done and can do, it can also get in the way of doing so much as well, and it can get in the way of so much more constructive recourse. But one of the lessons I've learned about YouTube specifically, but social media in general, is that there is a lot of useless information. There's a lot of spam and like semi-spam. A lot of information like retweeted links and shared Facebook updates and stuff like that, which is it's mildly interesting, but the fact that it exists in your life is probably taking up space that something more useful can fill. So I feel that nowadays we have a lot of useless information, a lot of junk information in our lives, and a lot of it's perpetuated by things like the 24-hour news cycle and the constant status updates and the psychology surrounding outrage culture and sort of just sort of like the very speedy and sort of thoughtless way which so much information seems to move through our entire society, I guess. So one of the things I've learned to sort of try and increase the signal to noise ratio, which means you often end up with like a lot of social media accounts as a result of that. So like, for example, this channel that I'm speaking from you from today, close enough, was actually like my vlogging channel. It was just a channel that I casually made videos on about all kinds of things, films and politics and all that kind of stuff. And the videos on this channel that were about Linux got significantly higher views and drew in newer and newer people. sort of day by day, and it got to the point where my first 1,000 subscribers, like about 900 of them would have subscribed for Linux and tech videos, and then it got to the point where whenever I made a non-tech video, someone would put in the comment section, "Isn't this a tech channel?" And it's because the more prominent videos on it were tech, and it basically the tech videos overtook this channel, and then I started another channel to do personal vlogging and stuff, which I never really put the same amount of time into it that I put into this channel, but I'm gonna do it alongside this channel next year. And this channel has just sort of effectively been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's very interesting how my opinions changed. Whereas I'd put sort of all kinds of videos up on this channel a couple of years ago, now I've decided to hone it into a channel that focuses on sort of Linux, tech, software, open source stuff. That very sort of well-defined niche that we all find ourselves so comfortably in, these days in tech. And I really think that the open source software movement is absolutely fantastic. I think that the thing I like about it is the idea behind its mechanics, the decentralization culture, the idea that we should be running a lot more software on our system rather than relying on the cloud, except in cases where the cloud is an obvious solution to an obvious problem. But a lot of the times now, we find ourselves relying rather less so much on products and like pieces of software, and more on services, like you happen to find on the internet as well, which is a little bit worrying in some ways. It's we're handing over a lot of our digital autonomy, and we're handing over in a lot of cases, a lot of our information, which we really, aren't comfortable with as a wider society. And I'm not even just talking about, folks that watch this channel. I'm talking about everyone I know and everyone I meet. As much as they use the Facebook and as much as they use all the Google stuff, they're well aware that their information is being used to put them into a little graph and sell them very specific things, and effectively used to manipulate their psychology. But they just sort of grumble about it and move on. It's sort of up to those that can, i.e. us, to try and challenge that and improve it. And I'd like to sort of dedicate this channel to that sort of cause, to that movement, to that sort of set of values, because it's a very common set of values, and it's a set of values that transcends politics as well. I'm in politics, but I know people who are completely on the absolute, anarcho-communist side of the spectrum, and I know people that are very, far right, sort of, and your free market libertarians and your neoliberal economists and all those kind of guys, and your long-standing conservatives. Both there are people that value open source on absolutely both sides of that spectrum and everywhere else in between, because it kind of falls outside that, because the values that it has, they're based in pragmatism, they're based in results, and they're based in a practical way of working, rather than any kind of any kind of sort of specific vision of a city on the hill. Is actually, no, this is how we're going to do software, this is how we're going to write it, and this is the best way of doing it. And it's more of a process. It seems a process of evolution. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling on now. Anyway, thank you very much for everything, and I will see you guys in the next video. I've been Chris Ware, and you've been awesome. Toodaloo.